Okay guys, so just like to welcome you back to the Changes, Disclosure and Awakening slide talk, which is this is part 2 of that series. Moving on from the initial slide, moving to what are changes. Changes by definition are anything that changes the conditions of our planet, either adversely or for the better. It changes the condition in which we experience our reality on this planet. So you established ones: tsunamis, floods, volcanoes, volcanic eruption, and high velocity winds or tornadoes or twisters. These entities and these earth forces have been on the increase recently. It's one of the reasons I began to question actually what's actually taking place at the moment. Now, some of the most common forms of what people will talk about regarding earth change is what academia tells us, which is that the CFC gases that are contained, the fluorocarbons that are contained within aerosols, were damaging the ozone layer and making a big hole above Antarctica, at which point there was going to be lots of radiation getting in, melting the polar ice caps and raising the levels of our oceans. This would cause flooding on the coastline areas of the world and lead to a change in earth conditions. Getting back to what earth changes are about. The greenhouse effect as well, with the fluorocarbons settling in the ionosphere, reflecting heat back onto the earth instead of allowing it to dissipate into space, would cause the temperature again to rise on the planet, and we again would have polar ice caps melting. This has been largely debunked, considering that this was going on in the 80s. If you remember the Lynx, the deodorants like Lynx Oriental, Lynx, and that sort of thing. Now, they still go now, but when they were good, when they were in the 80s and used to smell nice, everyone went crazy on CFC-free gas propellants. This is why, to try and counter these greenhouse effects. The pollution in industrial or environmental, which is down to landfill sites, toxic waste dumps, nuclear waste dumps, you name it. The pollution of our own doing, earth changes that are brought about due to human intervention, not of a natural scale. The beginning of the new ice age would be considered on the natural scale. It's widely believed by academia that we do move through these changes in temperature and so on and so forth within set amounts of time. Again, there's a lot of people talking about the beginning of a new ice age being responsible for the changes on Earth at the moment, and the severity of our weather, which is certainly changing without doubt. Whether you believe in what we talk about on this website, or what you believe in general in your own paradigm and belief system, we are in the middle of a change, or close to a change on this planet. So the new ice age theory is up in the air. Natural events, as the earthquakes and tornadoes, are growing in the severity and frequency as we approach an earth change, or, as predicted in certain biblical texts, the end of the long count, or the end of days, as it's known in the book of Revelations. Excuse me. Migrating animals such as fish, birds affected by the weakening magnetic fields. That's been seen. It's been observed where there was that incident where there was all of the flock of birds fell out the sky. In the numbering in the thousands. This was possibly down to the magnetic fields of the Earth fluctuating due to Earth change. And we get back to the stuff to do with the solar cycle 24, which we'll go into in the HARP device, which we'll go into, but they also can have a massive effect on our magnetosphere functions. Okay, so we're moving into the HARP device. Now, this firmly was in the realms of absolute top secret for a long time. The High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, as it's known, is based in Alaska. It essentially is a massive area of antennas and aerials, and as you can see from the image, it's in wilderness almost. This thing is in Gakona, Alaska. It can generate 3.6 million watts of microwave signal. That is, compared to your average domestic microwave, a lot of watts, a hell of a lot of watts. and this can be theoretically used to lift up the ionospheric layer of the planet and do all sorts of nasty things, such as intensify tectonic plate stress or generate earthquakes. The ionosphere is a shell of electrons. They're electrically charged atoms and molecules that surround the Earth. They protect us from the crappy stuff that the sun throws at us, because the fallacy being that the sun only gives you nice things like light and heat is wrong. It actually throws out a hell of a lot of lethal radiation as well. And these things, we have to be protected by this, and nature's done an absolutely fantastic job of protecting us from these things. It's only when man gets involved that things start going belly up. Now here we have the alleged claims that this thing can create problems within the ionosphere, creating disturbances and the tectonic plate stresses. Tectonic plates are, if you could take two biscuits or two anything and rub them together, one going north, one going south, then they will slip. This is how tectonic plates work. They actually move. We actually float, and we actually reside on tectonic plates. All of us that live on the surface of this earth, and these things move, they cause earthquakes. Some of the weaker areas are known as fault lines. San Andreas is one, which is out there by San Francisco and LA. There's numerous around the planet, and this device can manipulate and create these things. Right, rainbow coloured clouds. This is in the purview of the Walt Disney stuff. Again, not something I believed initially. As I was doing my research into the HARP device, this came along, and what it was an image from the Chilean earthquake. We've got one from the Australian earthquake, and we have the big image of the one that triggered a tsunami that struck Japan. It was taken roughly around 2 hours before the event took place. The Chilean earthquake, like so, and so the Australian one. So it would seem that something is actually occurring in the atmosphere prior to these things being triggered, and they all have the same signature on. It's like a footprint. They all create rainbow coloured clouds in the air. Now, a lot of people have said to me, "Oh, that's just a rainbow hitting the cloud." The two things I say to these people is, one, it's not moisture that they're hitting wisps of vapour, which wouldn't generate, because there's no water as such, it's just vapour. And as you can see in the top right, or the middle right image, the rainbow effect it's centralised, it's not across the entire cloud. So if that was the case, the light hitting that entire cloud, it would be the entire cloud that's lit up. So we are dealing with things that we don't generally understand. But as I say, if I was a betting man, I'd be betting on HARP behind some of these issues. Solar cycle 24, something that began in 2008, it ends up peaking and diminishing in 2013. Massive sunspot activity is due to hit the Earth between 2012 and 2013. That will cause the magnetic fields to fluctuate, which potentially cause communications disruptions. It will cause chaos, because this thing will interfere with every electrical system that we have, similar to when a nuclear bomb is detonated and it sends out an electromagnetic pulse that just creates dead. It just creates dead. And what it does, it will shut down all electrical functioning systems, and then we're back to the dark ages. So it's a time to buy a lot of pot noodles and dig in. Communications, power problems, you name it. Now the imagery around this is the two images at the top. One is from an observation of the fact that it's peaking and it's dropping as we move up to the solar maximum 2013. Stereo are two satellites that go around the Earth that actually keep check on the sun and its activity, and that's what they're actually at the moment reporting that it's at an all-time low, or it's at a very low ebb. We've also got the image at the bottom, which represents just how the ionosphere stops the radiation and the harmful stuff getting to us. If you take the Earth there as the blue dot, and all the blue and nice green and yellows around it, and the red and the oranges being the bad stuff, you will also notice that they are starting to encroach closer and closer to the Earth. Now, this is possibly due to the usage of HAARP. 10 times more particles of solar radiation are going to be able to penetrate the ionosphere, possibly due to the HAARP device being used, which is no surprise if you look at human history, where we dip in our hands where we're not supposed to be. We are interfering with the natural order of this planet, to protect itself, and we are not only doing it on this score. There is a million and one other things that are happening on this planet at the minute where we are interfering with issues that are out of our control, and we should just leave them alone. Unfortunately, that's not the powers that be, nature, and they want to make an issue here, and they want to be in control of certain things. So therefore, why not control absolutely everything? So within that in light, we could be heading for a couple of really nice suntans around that time, and it would just bear noting that this will be updated as I go through. The website will keep on top of it, I will keep on top of it, and we will try and bring all of the information to yourselves as things go. Right now, this solar cycle is not an issue. So, as I say, we built up to the 2012 and 2013 timescales. Thank you very much for your attention. Again, it's been an absolute pleasure and an honour to deliver this information to you once more. Hopefully, you will have found something of interest to yourself, and maybe go and check it out even further, because believe you me, I'm no expert on any of these things. I just bring them to you as a matter of interest, as a matter of us beginning to start asking questions, because that's how we need to go forward, guys. Because if we do not start asking the questions, then we're not going to receive the proper answers. Right at the moment, the balance is firmly set in the other camp, and we need to swing it back our way. Once again, take care, and really have the best of days or the best of evenings whenever this information tends to be hitting you. And please, until next time, be peace.